Okay, so tonight I just wanted to kind of go back to basic stuff. Um, that way, I mean, this is a very tough time of year, if you haven't noticed. And it's just very easy to get discouraged and then to stop doing the stuff that you're supposed to be doing every day. And obviously, if you're not doing that stuff every day, you're not staying consistent, you're not moving your business forward. Even if it doesn't actually feel like you're moving your business forward, you're doing a lot of damage if you don't keep doing the same things that you're supposed to be doing. So, normally the people on the call are doing the most part of that, but I just kind of wanted to, you know, go over things and just give you guys some refreshers and just kind of go around and ask what everybody is doing, but that'll come afterwards. So first off, on Monday, we're going to do the sugar detox group. I have the files from Pure Synergy, that team training site. I haven't gone over it yet, but of course I'll just make it our own too. And that's literally going to go straight into the accountability group. So if you have anybody sign up to do the group, just add them straight into the accountability group. That's where it's going to be. That way, everybody in the actual group, regardless of whether they signed up or not, everybody's going to benefit from that group. And I'm hoping that by doing it straight in the group, it gets the team environment back up and everybody gets more into it, and there's more interaction, especially because there's not only going to be interaction from the group itself, but from the detox group that's going on within the group. So next week, definitely make sure you're present in the group. The pin post is going to be just like it would in a regular, little free group or challenge group. It'll be a pin post in the actual group itself. And I'll upload the files for whatever we need in there as well. So that's that. Okay. So Julie and a bunch of us other coaches have been talking about doing an entire team-wide sneak peek group. So it's not just our Fit and Free team. It would be the entire Pure Synergy and every other team below it team. So that, we would have to close off anybody actually adding on comments who's not an admin, just because you can imagine how out of control and crazy that could get. But in sneak peeks, it's so important to have interaction, because that's what people are seeing before they even sign up. If they're seeing nobody is commenting, nobody is interested, and they're going to be like, well, why would I want to do this? Why would I want to join a team that it's not even interactive? It's not going to give me any help when I need it. So we've been thinking of either doing a group or posting everything straight into an event. And that's different than something that we've ever done before. There's actually an Anita Myron thing that she just did recently, and there's a series of 8 or 9 videos, all 3 to 5 minutes each, and it would just be from between 8 or 9 different coaches on the team, and it would be an hour-long event happy hour, sort of like that. So we would be posting every few minutes new videos into the event itself once the happy hour started, and everything would just keep getting bumped up, so you'd have to just really be monitoring the entire group for that hour. But it would be very interactive, and you could actually add people into the event. Not only would people see it later on, but if anybody's commenting on something, if that event is public, which it would be, that event is going to be popping up on all of the people's news feeds that the event, or that they marked that they're going to the event. So that could be really cool. It could be really huge. We haven't put any details to it yet, but definitely start talking to people about coaching, getting them excited. If you're not talking to people, they're not going to sign up to coach. You're not going to rank advance. You're not going to grow your business further than just commissions from challenge packs. It's just not going to happen. Coaching is very important to invite people to, and I know it can be very scary, but there's something that Danny Johnson always says, which is you can't judge what somebody is going to do with the business opportunity that you're giving them, but you are being selfish by not offering that to them, because they can go like crazy far. They might not even have the same struggles that you've had, but if you're not presenting that to them at all, they might not ever have the opportunity to do what they could have done with this. So, when you're inviting people, think about it like that. Don't think about it like you're bothering somebody, because you guys are here for a reason. You continue coaching for a reason. You love it for some reason. Bring that to people when you're talking to them about it. Like, this is a blessing. This is something that is so good for our lives, which is why we continue to do it. And share that with people. Want to share that with people. Don't be nervous about doing it. Okay, so I think that's pretty much just housekeeping stuff. So like I said, I wanted to kind of go back to basics today. Now, what that means is, what do we basically do as coaches? What are the 3 vital behaviors? Personal development, inviting, and being a product of the product. So first off, personal development. True story, I did not do personal development for like the first year of my coaching. And it completely showed in how I ran my business. And Julie started doing weekly calls with coaches. This is before her business blew up. She started doing weekly calls with coaches who wanted to grow their business. Julie wasn't my coach at the time. If you don't know, my coach originally is my best friend, and Julie was her sponsor. But Julie, regardless of whether or not I was her PS coach, she still allowed me to do the calls with her. And I missed like 2 weeks. I just kept making excuses. And she told me straight out, I'm not going to do a call with you until you read Go Pro. And that was my first personal development book. I had picked it up and put it down and picked it up and put it down a million times in my first, let's say 8 months of coaching. And I just never finished it. That week, I read that entire book because I wanted to be on that call with her. Something snapped into me that made me realize that I needed to do that. And ever since then, I've been very consistent with my personal development, because personal development has absolutely 150% changed my life. Personal development not only gets you through the hard times, which right now it's a hard time, and it's going to help you get in a better mental state, to not only help yourself mentally, help yourself physically, emotionally, but you're going to have a different outlook and a different perspective on how to treat people, how to act towards people, because of how you feel inside. If you're in a shitty mood, are you nice to people? Honestly, you just aren't. And that's why I am completely serious when I say this. If you're in a bad mood, do not talk to any of your customers. None of them. Go and read some freaking personal development. I am telling you, it is better to do absolutely no follow-ups, absolutely no inviting in one day if you are in just such a terrible mood, because people can pick up on that. Whether or not you're talking to them, on the phone or over the computer, people know that it's just like a sense that if somebody's in a bad mood, you can just feel the tension even through the computer. So I would rather have you not talk to one single person about the business than have you talk to every single follow-up you have when you're in a bad mood, because you're just going to blow all of those, because they're going to be like, wow, this girl is a bitch. Seriously, it's, even though you might not think that, it's completely true. And that's, no matter what you're going through, you just need to take a step back. Be like, listen, I need to focus on myself today, and that's totally fine, because sometimes you just need a mental health day. because the next day, after you do a bunch of personal development, after you just refresh, you're going to talk to all of those people in such a better and more efficient way than you would have the day before, instead of just getting frustrated with them. So personal development, you have to do it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You just have to do it. 10 minutes a day, whether you sit down and read a book, whether you listen to audio CDs in your car, whether you listen to Audible when you're going about your business, whether you put on a YouTube whatever while you're working out, listen to personal development, read personal development every single day. Non-negotiable. That's why it's one of the vital behaviors. Next, you want to make sure that you are being a product of the product. I know there are a lot of coaches, because I can see who is active and who's not. And there's a lot of coaches that are not being a product of the product, period. If you are, let me say this. Unless you are allergic to Shakeology, which there are. I mean, like Heather, she's allergic to Shakeology. But you have to be a product of the product, meaning that you have to be drinking it every day and you have to be working out. Granted, sometimes you're going to fall off track. Totally fine. You are human. Share it. Share your experience. Share what you're going through. Because not only do you want to be a product of the product, to be able to show people, listen, you can physically see what this has done for me. This can happen for you because it happened for me. That is so huge. But you also want to be sharing about like what's going on inside of you. What is happening? Do you have more energy? Do you not eat as much shitty food? Did your cholesterol go down? Did your blood sugar levels drop? I mean, personally, my mom, her blood sugar went down because she started drinking Shakeology. One of the coaches, she's a discount coach on the team, Katie, she had her cholesterol levels drop from not only drinking Shakeology, but just from eating cleaner, healthier food. And that happened in less than a month. I mean, those kind of stories are absolutely huge. And that's something else. Not only do you want to be sharing your own story, but you want to be collecting these stories from other different coaches. So that way, when you're talking to a prospect, not only can you share your experience, but you can share somebody else's on the team. Even if you're not like best friends with that person, it doesn't matter. You can share what this has done for people that you actually know that are on the team. And it doesn't even have to be people that are on the team. You can, I mean, I'm not saying take stock photos from like infomercials. Don't do that. But you just want to make sure that you are yourself being a product of the product, sharing that, but sharing what it's done for other people. That's actually why on the Join Team Synergy training site, there are testimonials from different things. So if you guys have never been on that team training site, definitely make sure you get on there. There's a ton of info, like a ton. And that's very, very important. And not only with Shakeology and your workouts, but if you are allergic to Shakeology, you want to try different products. How many of you guys actually know that there's skincare line? There's derm exclusive. There are, the Energize line now. There was, there still is ENE, but let's get real. Energize is way better. And there's the Boost. There's a ton of different stuff that you can try and that you can share about and share what this stuff is actually doing for you. Because if you don't have those stories yourself to share, if you're not being a product of the product, showing people that you are being a product of the product and sharing what this has done for you, people are not going to come to you as often because you're not showing them that this is something that actually can be done by a real person, aka you. Very important. Okay, so number 3 is inviting. I want you to all really be honest, not only with me, but with yourself on this. Are you actually inviting people daily? Think about it. It's something that is so easy to be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm inviting people, but in the back of your mind, and just on paper, if you were to write down who you invited today, would you be able to write people down? Because it's something that it's very easy to lie to yourself about it. It's very easy to just dismiss it. Well, I'll do it later. Well, you know what? Sometimes later never comes because life gets in the way. If I don't know if any of you have read Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, but basically the whole basis of it is to do the task that you put off, the task that you hate the most. And let's get real, usually inviting is like our least favorite task because we all don't want to feel pushy, and that's a very common thing that people feel when they're inviting. But you just have to get past that mindset of it. But either way, back to Eat That Frog. The whole idea is to put the thing that you hate doing the most, but that is going to be the most effective in moving you towards your goals, do that first. First thing in the day. Before you do anything else, make sure you get that shit out. That's why, Melanie Mitro talks about it. She sends out one of her first things that she does in the day, besides like checking into her groups and all that kind of stuff, before she answers messages, she sends out her invitations. That is super important because if you're not sending out invitations, if you're not sending out invites to challenge groups, to just free groups, just to talk to new people, just to like invite them into your life, talk to them about just nothing, just starting to build a relationship. If you're not actually talking to people every single day, if you're not talking to new people, if you're not building your market, if you're not inviting people to the things that you should be doing, which are challenge groups, which are free groups, which, yes, you can totally do those with me, but you don't have to feel like you have to always do the ones that I do. You can, of course, branch out and do them on your own or with other coaches. You don't have to adhere to my schedule if you don't want to. That's what works for me. It might not work for you. But you have to be inviting every single day, because if you are never asking the question, it's always going to be a no. Always. Because they're never, you don't know what that person is going to say. You don't know if just an hour ago they were looking in the mirror thinking, I really just wish I could make a change. You don't know these things if you're not talking to people, if you're not giving that invitation out there. What's the worst they're going to say? No. Who cares if they block you? Especially with people that you're just starting to build a relationship with. I have been blocked by like a ton of people. And it's just because this either is not for them or they are not ready right then. And if they say no, take it as a not right now, because that's really what it is. Not everybody is on the same journey. Not everybody is at the same point in the journey, because it's just, everybody's at different points in their lives. You have to respect that. You have to understand that. But when somebody says no, or when somebody says it's not the right time, first off, ask more questions. Talk to them about why, because you might be able to actually overcome that objection by asking more questions. But if it really is a no, like I'm not ready to do this right now, move on. Stop dwelling on it. Just move on. Invite the next person, because that next person might be your yes. You're never going to get those yeses if you're not asking. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, recap. The first one, personal development. You have to do it every single day. It's very easy to put off, just like inviting is, but it is so freaking essential to your business and to your life. I would have not been able to get through a lot of stuff in the past few years if I had not been doing personal development. Not only business-wise, just personal-wise. I just would not have been able to do it. It has changed. It has saved my life. Being a product of the product. It's okay if you miss days. It's okay if you forget or you get sick or you just feel like eating like shit one day. It's fine. You're human. Don't feel like you have to, just because you're a coach, that you have to adhere to perfectionism. That's absolutely not what you should do. It's so unrelatable. be a product of the product, share what you're doing, share your story. And inviting. Make sure that you are inviting. If you are not inviting, you are never going to grow your business. It's just not going to happen. You might have those random, oh, well, I really want to do this. Sign me up. Like, that's just, I'm sorry, it just doesn't happen very often. It would be nice, but it just doesn't. You have to actually be inviting. You have to be growing your business if you want to grow your business, basically. So I just want to kind of go over just very briefly that you guys want to make sure that you're tracking all of this stuff, because this is what's going to keep you on track to make sure that you're actually getting these 3 things done every day. So first off, there is the BAT, the Business Activity Tracker. That is in the back office. I believe I have it uploaded to the files on the Fit and Free Coach group, but if not, it is in the back office. That is, it gives you just a rundown of, just to make sure, like, it's a checklist basically of making sure that you're getting all of that stuff done every day. But there's a ton of extra stuff, and there's also like there's some, I can't remember what it's called. There's a list that you can print out so that you can write down on paper what people you're inviting, what you're inviting them to, when the follow-up is going to be, that kind of stuff. So you can check that all out in the back office. That is there for you to use. There is also something called the Power of Threes. That is making sure that you are inviting 3 people to just to be your friend on Facebook. You're inviting them to a group of any kind, inviting them to coaching, inviting them to, there's more, and I can't think of it right now. But it also has on there that, you know, you're doing your personal development, you're doing your 3 to 5 Facebook posts a day. And please do not be one-track fitness minded, because it's going to get annoying. People are going to unfollow you. They're not going to like or comment on your stuff as much, which is going to make your posts not even visible to them because of Facebook algorithms. If you are interested in learning about Facebook algorithms and how, like, all of the posts show up to people, definitely get Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk, I think it is. But it gives you really great examples of, like, good Facebook posts. And actually, it's more than just Facebook. It's like all forms of social media. And it gives you a really good rundown of, like, how things are showing up to other people. But there's the Power of Threes, like I said. There's also the Power of Fives that I created. Which has, you know, it's just basically going to get you to your goals faster, whatever those goals may be, because you're going to be inviting 5 people daily to all of those categories that I gave you. Plus, like I said, there's some more that I just can't remember at the moment. You can do the checklist that I just showed you guys how to do last week. If you were not on last week's call, it is in the Fit and Free files under the team call file. And you can go over any of the old team calls in that as well. But that does not have, like, a customer or prospect or anything like that. I personally use Asana for that. I think it is fantastic for tracking your customers, tracking your prospects. I want to move over to Google Streak. If you want to learn about Google Streak, Brooke Dorsett, well, now it's Brooke Lipoff, but her YouTube, I think, is still Brooke Dorsett. She has really great videos on Google Streak and how it is used for customers and for prospects and coaches and all that kind of stuff. So basically, make sure you guys are doing your 3 vital behaviors. Make sure you are tracking everything, because if you're not tracking everything, it's very easy to say that you did something but to completely forget about doing something else. Or just, I mean, it's going to help keep you on track. It's going to help make sure that you're actually doing those things that you're supposed to be doing every single day. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Do you have any questions? Do you want to have any feedback here? Just unmute yourself if you do. Okay. All right, well, that's all I have for you. So I will get this uploaded as soon as possible. I'm not going to keep you guys any longer, so have a good night. Okay. See ya. Bye.